Okay, onto the VoIP settings for the B2000. Going to go through some of the settings and the setup of the VoIP for the B2000 router. So first things first, once you've clicked on VoIP, it will show you VoIP information. If you have not set up any VoIP services or SIP servers or anything like that, this will be blank. You need to set up something to be able to see what is going on the router. So let me just go through some of the settings here. Firstly, SIP server, and let me just start by saying this, guys. All these settings that you put in here, you get from your VoIP service provider. Everything. They have a full manual with all these settings in it, and if they don't, they should, because these settings are very important to get your SIP service to work correctly. So whoever you get VoIP from need to give you these settings in some sort of a document or a setup guide, because you will need them to enter them into your router. Yes, there are some standard settings. However, it really depends on who set up the SIP server and all the VoIP channels and all the settings and timeouts and all that sort of thing. So you need to be aware of those settings to be able to set these things up, and you will need to get a user guide from your service provider. Okay, so I'm just going to go through these settings. If you use a proxy server address, if you use a proxy server for your SIP services, then like I said, that'll be provided by the operator, and they'll need to furnish you with the information here in there. So basically, it's going to be you read the manual and you enter the information into each one of these provided spaces. The same thing for your SIP account. Once your account is created on the operator's side, you then get SIP accounts, and you can then enter in the information in the SIP account once you've set up the SIP server. Excuse me. Also, when you go further down the VoIP list, you get advanced settings, stuff like speed dials. You actually get SIP settings where the server needs information like registration timeouts, session timeouts, minimum session timeouts, prac signaling, which SIP account to use for what lines, to do call waiting, conferences, echo cancellation, all the rest of it. These are settings that you get from your service provider, and those need to be entered before you can actually do any settings on the device itself anyway. So here's some voice settings. You can set these settings if you like. You can change settings in here. I don't suggest you change anything in here. Normally these settings are a standard. Like I said earlier on, some of these settings are standard, some of them are not, and you may have to change them depending on the setup of the server at the operator's side. Codec settings, exactly the same thing. Some operating services have certain codecs to do the voice. Others use a different type or a different service. So these are things that you get from your operator to get your SIP stuff going or your VoIP stuff going. So these are the settings. The device does do VoIP. It does not do quality of service in terms of allocating a certain amount of bandwidth to a certain IP address or a certain service or anything like that. It's got a limited amount of quality of service. I know there are some people who are testing the quality of service on the B2000 router to be able to do VoIP calls and to prioritize the voice packets over the internet connection that the B2000 has made. But it's still in testing as far as I know, and it's not been tested properly yet. So it's something that is still up in the air. Like I said, it does do VoIP. I just don't know what the expectation is, and I don't know what quality you'll get out of the VoIP experience, because that has not been tested yet. All right, so that basically covers the VoIP. I'm going to move on to the next setting now.